Well, David, the first day of NHL free agency was quite something. And before we begin, we have to light a candle for all of our very good friends over in Calgary because of what they've been through over the last
Yeah.
48 hours. And let's start with that. And Johnny Gaudreau ending up in Columbus?
Yeah, Irf. I mean, this was something that just came about today, this morning. There was no lead up to the possibility that the Columbus Blue Jackets were going to be part of this race that ended up being a three-team race involving them, the New York Islanders, and the New Jersey Devils. Philadelphia took themselves out of the race earlier on in the day when they weren't able to create some additional cap space by moving JVR. So everybody was kind of lined up, and ourselves included, thinking it was going to be between the New Jersey Devils and the New York Islanders, with a third team kind of in the mix, and we just didn't think they were going to get to the table. Well, they got to the table, they loaded everything up into their plate, and they scarfed it down, and that is Johnny Gaudreau on a 7-year contract worth $9.75 million a year. They come out huge in free agency, and suddenly the Columbus Blue Jackets looking all that much more dangerous with Johnny Hockey.
You know, it's funny. They also took a lot of heat for Jarmo Kekalainen signing Erik Goodbranson to a 4-year deal worth of $4 million AAV. But you have to think, when it's all said and done, David, they're near the top of who are the winners at the end of the day so far.
Yeah, without question. And Jarmo Kekalainen, their general manager, actually acknowledging that Goodbranson was one of their top priorities. They wanted to bring in physicality onto that blue line to complement the offense that they've got. And for them, they felt that this was the right fit. All of a sudden, you add Johnny Gaudreau to the mix. Does this make it more appealing for Patrick Laine, for example, to sign a long-term extension? He's a restricted free agent. They want him to stick around. And I've got to imagine this is much more appealing for him. So if I'm picking some winners in this one, so far for me, Columbus right at the top and really out of nowhere. They sounded the crap out of those cannons.
Carolina, Ottawa, Detroit. Also teams,
Yeah.
David, that did not mess around.
No, they did not. Starting with the Carolina Hurricanes, taking advantage of two separate situations. One in acquiring Brent Burns from San Jose. The Sharks going through a retool, so they wanted to create some additional cap space. And then we knew that Vegas had to do something and move out some bodies. We reported this in the middle of the season that Riley Smith was going to stick around on a 3-year extension. They just had to figure out the dollars. And not only did they move out of Evgeny Dadonov and brought in Shea Weber to create space, they ended up moving Max Pacioretty, and that's a huge win for the Carolina Hurricanes, who now bolster their offense that much more. Spent a lot of money this offseason, or at least today anyway, and that's a little uncharacteristic of Tom Dundon, the owner there, but they feel this is a good opportunity for them. So I like what they pulled off today in creating that win. I really like what both Ottawa and Detroit were able to do, Irf. They brought in guys to complement the young pieces on each of their rosters. You look at Detroit, Chiarot, Mata, Copp, Perron. They had a few other pieces as well that I've forgotten off the top of my head. And then you look at, because they did so much, then you look at Ottawa, and they make their moves, not only with the trade and bringing in Talbot and DeBrincat, but also Claude Giroux entering the fold in Ottawa. And they're not done. They still want to address their blue line. They move out Connor Brown. For me, these are three other winners here on the first day of free agency.
The Detroit one interests me because David Perron has now finally signed a contract with a team not named the St. Louis Blues, David. So that one interests me a little bit as well. But when you look at it now, obviously Johnny Gaudreau is now, off the map. He's now joined the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's going to be there long term. Nazem Kadri and John Klingberg. What's next for those two individuals?
Yeah, well, look, Naz has to figure things out. He's been fully engaged in this process with his agent Darren Ferris over at Cortex, and they want to figure out exactly what the best fit is for him and his family. So Naz has been right in the thick of things, involved in the process, talking to GMs, talking to coaches, I believe talking to some players as well to get a sense of what each environment is and what it has to offer him. Colorado's not out of the equation just yet, but he's certainly a piece that a lot of teams have interest in, and I really wonder what the Islanders and Devils do here with respect to Naz. Can they convince him to play the wing on each of their teams? That's something to consider, certainly. And then you look at John Klingberg, top defenseman left in the market. I mean, look, there are teams that are looking to address their right side. We know Carolina obviously did with Burns, but there are other teams that are looking to address their right side. Maybe a situation of them moving out some cap space in order to bring him in. But another attractive piece, the top defenseman of this class so far, and we'll see where he ends up.
Yeah, David, and as well as the Edmonton Oilers. Look, they lock up Evander Kane. They get a goalie in Jack Campbell. The Vancouver Canucks get Ilya Mikheyev, as well as Curtis Lazar. So a couple of other Canadian teams taking care of some business. But a whole lot of money spent, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon as we head into the offseason here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more money to be dished out, a lot more activity. Got to take a look at the trade market as well to see what may happen for teams that missed out on some of their free agents. We're not done yet, Irf.
No, as much as we say it's over, it really isn't. So we'll talk to you when we talk to you, David. Thank you very much for this as always. And for more, head on over to thefourthperiod.com.